All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Misfit Corner Comics Presents. This is the artist Andrew speaking, and guess what?
All right.
It's Saturday, and we're live streaming. Let me lower things down a little bit. It's a little loud here. Doot, doot, doot. All right. Whew. Hope everybody out there is having a good weekend so far. Had a lot of stuff on my plate today. Got a little bit of stuff done, and made plans to do more stuff. But yeah. Well, anyway. So, bottom line is we're live streaming and gonna have a good time. Oh, hey, Evan, and the duck. Yeah. Okay. I'll work on that. Give me just a second. I had a reference that I needed for my next drawing. I wanted to open that up first. Evan, what is your hatred of the duck? It's so unhealthy. It's an unhealthy hatred. Oops. Get this over here. All right. We're good to go. I actually got to work on some hero pages today, which was great. I don't always get an opportunity to do that, but I got to, so I'm happy about that. Let's see here. I may have an irrational hatred for the duck. It's okay. I mean, most people have an irrational hatred over something, you know. I have a couple of ex-brother-in-laws that if I saw them being mauled by a dog, I'd probably just keep walking. So, but then again, part of me thinks they deserve it, so. What did the duck ever do to you? All right. Still working on this design for this new character, and making some plans to work towards the next step and what I'm going to do with it. It may take a little longer than I thought, and this may just be a side project that I work on, and not something that I spend a lot of time on. But I was doing some research, and I came across a couple of images that I really like, so I'm going to incorporate some of the stuff that I liked about those images into the design of the character, and we'll see what happens. Or I've seen how ugly and lazy it makes everyone else streams. Well, sometimes lazy is actually, you don't have enough time to set these things up properly, so you take shortcuts, and yours may be okay for now. Yeah, well, we'll see. It's one of those things where, if you remember, live streaming on YouTube through Google Hangouts or whatever it was super simple. You just started it and you just went. It was really easy. There wasn't a lot of work involved in it, and a lot of us who are not technologically advanced kind of liked the fact that we could just go on, hit a button, and just start streaming, and there was not a big deal. And now that we live in an age where that option's no longer available, we still want it to be quick and easy. And I think the duck helps with that in a way. But that's just my opinion. What's so funny is I actually have a fox character in the current chapter of Hero that I'm working on, and you'd think I'd be getting used to drawing foxes, at least these animated looking foxes. There's no excuse to have those ugly ass lower thirds for every guest on screen. Okay. Vertical video for the triple splots. I have no idea what you're talking about. I think I do. I prefer the one where I don't like, yeah, you're right. I don't like the vertical ones. That's why I always go with the option where it breaks it up. But then again, you're right. There's a lot of extra lower space that isn't used. But I'll figure it out. I'll make it work for me. And speaking of which, if there's anybody out there, Avery or Todd or Kodiak, if you guys come by and want to get, I didn't send out any invites because I got lazy and skipped a step. But if anybody out there wants to come in, they're more than welcome to. I'm just going to draw for a little bit, talk for a little bit, maybe do something else in a little bit. We'll see. Oh, I guess I should actually talk, shouldn't I, since this is my live stream? Oh, well. That's one of the reasons why sometimes I like when the other guys are here, is because I don't have to talk the entire time, but sometimes they overtake the conversation and take it in directions. It's like, what the hell are you doing? Type of thing, but that's okay. So this story idea, what I'm working on is kind of going to do my own adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. That's why the guy gets the name Victor. He says, "Is this an Avery-free zone?" Well, if he comes by, I'll invite him in. I'm not purposely saying no to Avery. I would never do that. But we'll see what happens. I know he had to work today, so he could be very tired and not be interested in. I mean, he likes his weekends, enjoy your time off type of thing. So, I would probably just frustrate the hell out of him. I know how much he hates that. Oh, let's see. I imagine him wearing an apron, very much like I'm like a butcher's apron. I'll have to, when I reread the book, I'll have to see if it actually describes what kind of clothes he wears. But I figured I could get away with whatever I wanted to with this. So we'll see. I heard he vowed to never be on your show again after last night. Maybe. That's always a possibility. He's made lots of vows on my show, never wanting to come in again and so forth, so wouldn't surprise me if he did. But what's so funny is he'd actually have to say something, get the invite to come in to tell me I'm never coming back again. And he would do that just for the heck of it. All right. Maybe he needs some large gloves, like a scientist would. Still got to work on the face a little bit. Still not 100% happy with his face, but I'm getting there. The thing about the character is he's a character from Hero's world, not necessarily from the same time frame as Hero. As I already know, like Crom, his story and all is also in Hero's world, but it's hundreds and hundreds of years after Hero's story. So there is a separation there. But we'll see. I like the idea of the tuft of hair here. Kind of gives him a little bit more personality. A little tuft of hair here. And I originally had him wearing big goggles on top of his head, but I think I might want to have him hanging down on his neck when he's like just walking around and so forth. I like the idea of the big goggles. We'll see how that goes. You ever want to stream and just feel like throwing up? It's so Ugo. I have no idea what that means. I was looking into. I was looking at some anime characters who wear big goggles. And what's funny in YouTube, in Google, I just did a search for anime characters or manga characters with big goggles, and it showed me a whole bunch of characters with glasses. And it was like, that's not what I'm looking for. I mean, I eventually did find people who had goggles, but it was like, I guess it wasn't a very popular thing. Watch, not want. Okay. Oh, so I'm also working on doing the edits and the relettering of Hero Book 1, which is coming along really good. I got to work on several pages this afternoon, and hopefully I'll be able to do some more. The only reason why I don't do those on stream is simply because, I don't know, it's kind of boring just watching somebody letter a comic in Photoshop, you know? It's not very interesting. At least I don't think it's very interesting. So we will see. But there's a sequence of pages in book 1 that Avery just knocked it out of the park doing the lettering on. I mean, not the lettering, the coloring. They were flashback sequences, and he did this monochrome, like single color palette where he adjusted it slightly in some areas, but it made it just looks fantastic. And it definitely makes those panels stand out compared to the other panels on the page, because the other panels, of course, are all full color and multiple colors. And these panels, because they're a background story or a story within a story, the coloring definitely makes them stand out. And he did a really great job with that. And I'm trying to use some of the techniques that he did in later chapters. Heaven forbid I have to color my book myself, but you know, if I have to, I'll give it a shot. But I really like what he did, and he's very inspiring, very inspirational with what he did. So I will never fault him for doing that, because he did a really great job. You'd be surprised what people watch. No, that is true. That is true. Yeah, I don't know why, but YouTube keeps throwing some really weird recommends into my feed, and a lot of sports stuff, which I'm not really great into sports, but I have watched, like, you know, highlights for football games. So maybe that's where they thought I'd be interested in it. But then they show soccer clips and baseball clips and stuff I have no interest in whatsoever. Even had some Even watched a few table tennis ones, which that was a weird one. All right. So Victor is supposed to be a scientist. He looks very innocent in this image, so. Mukbang. Oh gosh, you're going to make me look that up, aren't you? And I'm going to regret it, I bet. So, but I'm getting more comfortable drawing this character. I like him. I think he's a decent looking character. I want to get to drawing the monster next because the idea of this giant, huge, like grizzly bear looking monster with scars all over him and a busted up jaw and his teeth hanging out, and I don't know. There's something visually about that sounds cool. But that's my version of Frankenstein's monster, the modern Prometheus. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Went out and bought a whole bunch of new pens so that I can get to drawing again, because I've got to work on. There's some pages for Hero Book 2 I've got to redo. There's pages for Hero Book 3 that I'm working on. I've got the potential to do a lot of art really soon. And that's one of the reasons I like live streaming, because it gives me a chance to work on stuff. It kind of forces me to work on stuff. So that's why I like the idea of live streaming every day, even if it's not even for a whole hour. So we'll see. We'll see. I would hope you'd regret looking it up, but you won't. Oh, okay. All right. Well, to be honest with you, it's when Avery puts something in he mentions something and it's like, oh, I really shouldn't look that up. He's trying to get me into trouble. Most of the time he is and enjoys it. I had an idea of doing like a steampunk type thing with some of the character designs for this, and I don't know. I'm not up on the whole steampunk look aesthetic, but I may take some influences from it. We'll see. We'll see. That's the advantage of translating something into your own work. You can do whichever you want with it, you know? All right. Actually, all right. Well, I hope everybody out there is staying safe, staying inside as much as possible, unless your work deems that you have to go outside and do stuff, you know? All right. Let me see if I have. Yeah, I'll just use this gray. That's fine. I think it's dying anyway. I don't think it's going to make a difference. Yeah, it's dying. Do I have another Copic marker? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, this one's not bad. Even though what I'm coloring in here, this probably should be all black because it's supposed to be like a black apron. I just wanted to put a different color on it to separate it from the rest of the black, just for the moment. These are big black gloves. And is that a Sharpie? Yeah, part of this was this is a Sharpie. I use all different types of materials, man. Use whatever's closest to me. I know guys will rave about Micron pens and all, but I think like this is a Precision V5. This is perfect for a 0.5 ink. This one here is the Uniball Fine Vision. It's a 0.7, so it's a little bit thicker. Those are the two that I use the most pretty much for everything. If I need a thicker line, I can use a Sharpie. I usually just use Sharpies for filling in blacks. I probably should use black Indian ink, but this is just a sketch. So this isn't something that would be printed. So if it was something that was going to be printed, I'd put a little bit more effort into it. So but yeah, I prefer to use whatever tools I have in front of me. And the pens that you can buy at Walmart, those are the easiest things. So, but all right. See, I have an idea for a. All right, so let me just tell you guys one part of my process. Whenever I come up with a new idea, I always try to do like a pin-up image or a cover image of whatever the story is about in order to just be like a beginning point and kind of like keep the idea for the story in one image. And I have an idea for the cover image that I want to do for this particular story, and I'll be working on that later this week. So what do you have against Microns? They work well and are pretty cheap. Well, this stuff's cheap too, so. Evan says he's trying to edge Rick out of the game. Does Rick use Microns? I don't know. I mean, everybody uses whatever they feel comfortable with. I've just always used these pens. I've illustrated many a piece of work with them. So I have nothing against Microns. I think they're a little too pricey for me. At least the good ones are. Actually, I saw a set today. It was 3 pens. They were all 3 the same size. I think they were like a 0.1 or something, or a 0.25, and they were like $8 for 3 pens. I'm like, oh, screw that. I could get like 4 of these for like $6 and 4 of those for less than that. It's like, I'll just stick with the cheaper stuff. You know, it all works. It all works for what I want it to work for. So what you up to, Mr. Dillard? You still working on your last page? You finished yet? I'm looking forward to getting my copy of the Canadian Shield and the buckler. Some of those people use bodily fluids. I wouldn't point to them as an example, though. Some of those people, are you talking about other artists or Canadians? See, that's no fair. Rick's not here. I can't be picking on Canadians if Rick's not here. But all right, so this is just another character design for Victor. Still working on it. Rick only uses Mid-Atlantic miniature squid ink. $12,000 a bottle. Well, in Canada, that's like, what, $1.50? So that's not too bad. All right. So this is my drawing for the day. I'm happy with it. I still got to work on his face a little bit. His snout is not as thin as I want it to be. I mean, he's supposed to be a fox, and I think I keep I keep making his snout broader. Dillard says, draw another one, DeWitt. Now. Do it now? Okay, well. Actually, you know what I could work on? I could work on doing a image of the monster. The creature. You know? I could work on that drawing. You guys just don't want me to shift to the peep show or anything like that. You know, I do have peeps to share with you all. So, no, I won't do that to you. That's just mean. That's just mean and nasty. Hey, Dillard, you want to come in? I can send you a link. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but... I had one of the... I like monsters and turtles. I am hungry. Good mukbang. Wait a minute. Mukbang. Wasn't that something Avery was telling me about? Where people were like doing stuff with food, with like shoving it down their throats or something, and they make videos of it or something. Something crazy, insane like that. That sounds like something you'd be into, Evan, right? Okay, I'm not going to click the link just yet. Do I have to be clever or entertaining? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, it's one of those things where if I'm not clever and entertaining, nobody else has to be. Give me just half a second. I'll send you a link. Actually, I'll send it to the three guys on the... You know how much I hate Twitter. All right, there you go. That's been sent. I'll send Todd and Avery a link too, just in case. Okay. Yeah, I think now that I think about it, what you're saying does sound familiar. You have to remember, and Avery has said this multiple times, I don't pay attention to anything anybody says. I mean, it's not that I'm trying to ignore you. Sometimes I don't have the brain capacity to hold all these ideas in my head. Brain capacity is an issue, especially when you get older like me. I'm going to go get my headphones and I'll hop on. Okay. Well, I look forward to having you come by. Evan, if you ever want to jump in, just let me know. I'll send you a link. I don't know, Evan, have you ever been on one of the shows before? I got to be careful who I invite. You never know. You might end up going crazy one day. And it's not like there isn't a precedent to that, you know? We've had some crazies that we let on who we didn't know were really crazy until much later. You know? It happens. And come on, Kodiak. I mean, he's one of those insane ones. I don't know why we ever let him in. He's crazy. Actually, I'd love it if he came in. I've been on with Kodiak a few times. Yeah. My brother-in-law told me, he was telling me, I was listening to your stream. You get that one guy on there with that annoying voice. And I'm like, who the hell who's annoying? Are you talking about me? He says, no, that one guy. And I'm like, which one guy? Turns out it was Kodiak he was talking about. I'm like, he thinks Kodiak is an annoying voice. He might. I mean, I've been told I have a face for radio, so I don't know about the voice, but all right. So you got this big old bear. Let's get these big old eyelashes. Wait a minute. I want to get the. I was using a Boris Karloff black and white photograph for inspiration as well. Let me bring that up. I kind of like that. See, this I can do with a Sharpie because it's a lot of hard, sharp, lot of sharp, heavy lines, and that's okay. Oh, what's up, Mr. Dillard?
Hello, gentle sir. How are you doing?
Not too dang bad. Not too bad at all. This was a really weird Saturday. Not doing any work. I mean, work outside of the home.
How come you don't work? What's going on?
I work on the flea market, and the flea market is shut down for non-essential businesses. So I did go by there this morning and drop off some product that I needed to take to the store, but that was it.
That looks like a bear. Are you drawing a bear?
It is a bear. I'm so glad it looks like a bear because that's what I'm going for here.
What was your inspiration for this bear?
There was a really evil-looking black bear in the movie Balto, and I really liked the design. Yes, it's the one about the dog, or actually,
was he? Oh, I remember Balto.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a dog, but he wasn't a dog. He was like half
husky, right?
He was half wolf, and he was trying to be part of a
bobsled team.
A bobsled team.
No. Just a sled team.
Bobsled. Yeah, you're right.
It's not Cool Running.
No, it wasn't Cool Runnings. But yeah. And he was part wolf, and that's the reason why the other
Evan is that's probably reasonable. You know.
What does he say? So how's the buckler coming along?
Really good. I finished everything on the last page. However, I'm going to redo the second to last panel. I messed it up.
All right, I have some criticism for you.
Okay.
Do you mind if I hit you with it?
I don't mind at all.
You posted a page. I don't know what page it was. It was on Twitter, and it had one word balloon down at the bottom on the third panel.
Uh-huh.
And the word balloon, there was so much room around the words itself. It was very distracting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure. I don't think you're hand lettering, but
Right.
it just distracted me. And I've done the same exact thing with Hero. That's one of the things I'm going back and correcting now is the size of some of the word balloons, because some of them I made way too big, and it's like, oh, did I letter that? You know, because it stood out. But
So this is what I don't want to sound like an asshole or anything, but
well, go ahead.
that was kind of a joke because
Oh,
I was trying to make a point during a conversation a while back with Rick Piper where he was saying that he's not Canadian or he's not in Canada, and I was like, well, yeah, look, and I did that really quick and threw it up on his stream, but I did not save a new file, so I have to rescan that picture in again.
Oh, okay.
To actually do the actual dialogue on it.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure if that was like a final page or what, but
I'm not trying to say that I'm not good at lettering. I've never lettered a comic before, so I got a lot to learn about whatever. But that actually wasn't the actual lettering.
Okay. I just didn't want to be cruel, man. I wasn't trying to be cruel. It just reminded me of some of my work, and that was bad. My bad work.
Oh yeah, no, there's parts of the Buckler that are bad, but I don't redraw things. That's just something I don't do.
Yeah, but the dialogue boxes, the word balloons, that's something you can fix. That's something you can go back and you can adjust. That's what I'm doing right now with Hero Book 1. There are some dialogue boxes that just need to be adjusted. And I'm taking my time and putting the effort into making sure that they look better than they did before. So,
what's the best looking bear you've ever seen in a cartoon? Because for me, it was the Bear and the Fox and the Hound.
Yeah, that was a good one. Honestly, I
hated Brother Bear.
I've used Brother Bear for reference before, but the one that I really like is the one from Brave, the Pixar movie.
Oh, Mordu.
Yeah, he looked awesome.
He kind of, I'll agree. He was probably the coolest looking, meanest looking bear, but he didn't really look like a bear.
Well, yeah, I guess I can understand that too.
She did though, but I don't know. I don't really count 3D movies as cartoons.
That's so mean.
That's like saying, oh, who drew the best water? Well, the water in Moana, but yeah, but Yeah. Because like the water effects in The Little Mermaid were fantastic, but like the Princess and the Frog just blew it right out of the water.
I have never seen The Princess and the Frog. I've seen parts of it, but I've never seen the whole movie.
Evan says, "I'll say he's not good at lettering." Yeah, I'm not good at lettering. I've never lettered, so.
Well, I lettered my first book, Tales from the Cornerstone. Actually, I actually lettered both books, and it was not good. It wasn't good at all. But I've gotten better. I mean, I know how to use the tools a little bit better. So
Evan says, "Yet," so I guess he has faith that I'll get better. And then he says, "Use Zap Raygun 2.0."
What is Zap Raygun 2.0?
It's a font.
Oh, okay.
These guys are all hung up on fonts.
I think the one that I like right now that I use for most of Hero is a digital strip, I think is the name of it.
Yeah, I'm just going to use Times New Roman for everything.
Whatever you do, don't use Comic Sans because people will tear you apart.
Yeah, but those people don't know what they're talking about either.
Yeah. Well, I had a professional. I put something out as like a promotional piece, and I lettered it. And a professional who will remain nameless said, "Is that Comic Sans?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's Comic Sans." They kind of were making fun of me, and I didn't realize it.
Evan says, in all capital letters, "You use terrible fonts." Evan, this font that you're typing in the chat with is awful.
I think that's a default font. I don't think he has to choose which one he uses.
It's Evan's fault as usual.
Yep. Yeah. Well,
Evan left the thumbs down on your video.
He did. Oh no. That's all right.
There goes your budding career in YouTube.
You know what? I am so glad that YouTube doesn't like shut down channels that get no views. They don't. It's not. It's almost like they don't really care.
Oh, they're getting there.
Yeah. Well, if it happens, then I'm in trouble. They start.
By the time they do that, you're gonna be like, you're gonna be a dynamo hit. Everybody's gonna love you.
Well, I've gotten like 4 new subscribers since yesterday, so I mean, I thought that was cool. So
yeah, you got a grip of subscribers.
Yeah, well, I believe in the philosophy: you build it, they'll come.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep making content, having a good time, and doing it.
Evan says he's right. This is a terrible font, and then he cries. Now, is that a mistake on his mouth, or is that something different?
Where?
On the corner of his mouth where it looks like it's open.
This is supposed to be a tooth sticking out.
Ah.
He's supposed to have a broken, bent jaw. So, kind of like what Peter Jackson did with King Kong in the King Kong movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because one of the reasons I was watching a making of special for King Kong, and they said one of the things about him was that he'd gotten in so many fights that he had broken his jaw and it never healed correctly. That's why his jaw was slacking and one tooth was sticking out.
Yeah, you gotta
I really like that.
Got to keep his guard up.
Yeah. Well, hey, he's the last gorilla standing, so I guess it worked.
What does that mean? He says Stallone lips. What does that mean?
Yeah, with a drippy lip, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I think most of the imagery of this character in the story that I'm going to do, he's going to be in dark shadows and so forth. It's going to be very moody. At least that's my intention. So you're not going to see him clearly enough to be concerned about that, but we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing. I was kind of inspired by what Bernie Wrightson did with his adaptation of.
Who's Bernie Wrightson?
Bernie Wrightson's a very famous comic book.
What is he famous for doing? Which comic?
The adaptation of Frankenstein. He's also he was also the co-creator of Swamp Thing, and he did a lot of illustration work for Stephen King. If you've ever bought one of Stephen King's book, like I think he did The Stand and The Dark Tower.
This looks very good.
He did illustrations in there. What's that?
I'm looking at some of Bernie Wrightson's work.
Oh, his Frankenstein stuff was fantastic.
I'm looking at something where he's like, I don't know, some wolves are chasing him, some young kids, some werewolves.
Yeah, he did a lot of horror stuff, horror comics and stuff like that. Yo, Kodiak, come on in, man, if you can. I sent you the link. You can join. Unless, of course, that scares off Dillard, then you're more than welcome to come in.
Oh, man.
Oh,
I thought you wanted me to come in.
I did until somebody else better came in. Oh, my gosh. That means I'm saying Kodiak would be better than you? Oh, man. What am I doing? I'm writing myself into a corner.
Evan says he's leaving. He's going to get drunk.
Really? On a Saturday? I guess you can do that. Hey, so how's work for you in California going? They keeping you busy?
Yeah. Very busy. That's all right, though.
Now, do you do long distance deliveries or all local stuff?
It's all local. Nowhere farther than maybe 150 miles.
Okay. That's not even from here to Orlando. I guess that's pretty good then. It means you get to go home every night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I like going home. That's where my bed is.
I bet.
But it's just awful around here. People have no regard for you on the road. People are just getting. And the thing is, you know how everybody says, "Oh, people in California don't know how to drive in the rain. They don't know how to drive in the snow. They don't know how to drive. Period." You know.
Yeah.
And it's true they don't. But the thing is, like, people have been kind of staying home. But the people that aren't staying home are making their presence known all over the road
Oh yeah.
because there's not too many, cops out. So they're just flying all over the freeways, cutting you off.
Well, the thing I think is interesting here in Florida, because of the ban on making everybody work from home, there's a lot less people on the road. And every morning when I get up and I go to work, or when I was going to work through Wednesday, yeah, I'd listen to the traffic and they talk about all the breakdowns and all the broken down cars and accidents and so forth. And it's like for the last week and a half, it's always traffic's great. No, nothing's happening. Everything's good. It's because nobody's out there driving like idiots. I mean, there's probably people still driving like idiots, but they're just not getting into car accidents. So,
Oh yeah.
but I heard on the news they were talking to the governor of Florida, and he was talking about how because there's so few people on the road, they're moving up the timetable for road construction projects.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere right now.
In some cases, 4 to 6 months early, because there's not as many people on the roads. They can do more shutdowns, lane shutdowns, and not affect traffic as much.
Oh, it affects traffic.
Well, it affects traffic, but not as much as if it was, rush hour.
Like I'm sitting there, and it's 7:00 in the morning. I'm almost done with my daily drive, my shift.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on the freeway. Was I on I-405? No, the 55 freeway, and I'm headed northbound. I'm waiting for my chance to hit the 60 so I can go east.
Right.
And then I see a sign that says, 60 east and west closed. Okay. I'm in a 75-foot truck, so I'm like, okay, I can't exactly go on the side streets and, find another way. So I got to stay on the freeway. So I stay on the freeway, and after the 60 freeway is a 10. So I'm approaching the 10 freeway, and I have another sign right there. It says, okay, 10 freeway eastbound closed. Use detour. I hop off the freeway. I follow the detour, but the detour doesn't include trucks. So now they send me down a side street that I can't go down. So I got to stop, like park, on the side of the road, which is illegal. And then I got to look up my maps and find a big major street that I can hop onto and go back towards the freeway again. You know what I mean? It's just garbage. And it took me 45 extra minutes. Time I could have been home and eating lunch. You know what I mean? What happened to your stream? You're silent. I can't hear a thing. Oh, it looks like he dropped out. It looks like he lost connection. Now it's the Dillard show. This is much better. Let's see. Dillard just told an Andrew story. Yep. Come in. I can't come in when Dillard's there. When he's there, I'm not the best looking dude on the channel anymore. He's frozen. Yeah. It looks like I'm frozen now too. But no, it's not a good time to be on the roads over here in California. But I'm working, so I can't really complain too much. Things are starting to come back onto the shelves again. Things are, they're putting restrictions on what you can buy. So, the stores are starting to get stocked up again. They're starting to fulfill all the orders. So, though there's still restrictions on what you can buy here in California, there's at least product on the shelves. All right, so let's see. I guess you guys don't want to see my ugly face, so do you want me to draw something? What do you want me to do? I'm up for whatever until Andrew shows back up, or never you will. Let it be. Let it be. Oh, I just got a new shelf. If you can see it behind me, I bought a little shelf at the Home Depot so that I could get all of the supplies that we've been buying extra of out of our bedroom and put it in here. Draw Hero as the buckler. All right, I can do that. Let me get my camera facing the other way. Give me a second here. I'm rich in love, a millionaire. Won't you take me there? Andrew just sent me a text saying the dog laid on the power cord and he'll be back in a minute. That's all right. I don't need Andrew here. What do I need Andrew for? Oh, just say the word and they are yours. Just help yourself to my lips, to my arms, and then we start to live. Oh, I need paper to draw, huh? I forgot about that. Let me get a piece of paper. And enough for me and you. All right, let me get a pencil here. I don't know why I do this to myself. I go on these channels with these professionals that are all unprepared. All right, let's see. We're going to draw Hero, but we're going to draw Hero as the buckler. All right. Let's move this paper up right there. All right, let's see. Okay, so Hero is like I don't know, like some sort of a fox or something. And let's see. And he has kind of like Dragon Ball Z eyes, I think. Just help yourself to my lips, to my arms. No, that's not the kind of face the buckler would make. Let me see what kind of face the buckler would make. Let me see. Yeah, this is going to end up looking like Sly Cooper. Now, the buckler has a very distinguishable, very large chin. So I'm going to have to include that on here, even though he probably won't like it, and it'll take away from the look of Hero. But that's all right. Because Hero is a trash character anyway. All right, I think I'm going to have a cutout area. I'll do a cutout area of his mask to show his, I don't know, his fur, I guess you would call it. And then I'm going to cut out an area up here as well for his weirdo ears. All right, that makes sense right there. Oh, let me move this freaking microphone. Every goddamn time. All right, there we go. So how out of focus is this drawing? Let me see. Yeah, that looks like him. Let's see here. Let's see. Dems fighting words. What's fighting words? Every word I utter is fighting words. These damn people around this community, I swear to God. Bunch of thin-skinned Nancy babies. They're sissy babies. All of them. All right, so should I have him dressed as the Buckler, but should he have his hero stuff? Oh, what should we do? I'm so sick and tired of all these. You got to be so careful with what you say. And the thing is, it's no different where you go or who you talk to. You still got to be careful of what you say. All these advocates of free speech. It's disgusting.
All right, I'm back. Can you hear me?
And as soon as Andrew gets back, then we can, I don't know, maybe he'll have something to say and chime in.
I bet you can hear me.
Of course I can hear you.
Well, my dog, who I love very much, he has a pillow that's set up directly underneath my desk. So
Is it a My Pillow?
No, it's a dog pillow. It's a big dog pillow. Well, I rearranged everything, so I've got power cords going on underneath here. Well, he got his cone kind of wrapped around the power cord, and when he went to lay down, he yanked it right out of the wall. So,
Sounds like bad planning.
well, I appreciate you holding down the fort for me. So,
I don't think you do.
I do. And I got to go back and read what all the stuff that Kodiak wrote in here. Welcome to the 30-day free trial of communism. Yeah, I've heard that one before. I can't come in when Dillard's there. When he's there, I'm not the best looking dude on the channel anymore. Dude, when it's just you and I, you're not the best looking dude on the channel. Dillard just told an Andrew story? Really? I look forward to watching the video and seeing what you told. He's frozen. Let it be, let it be. I wonder if there's a whole system went down. Yes, my whole system went down. Draw a hero as the Buckler. Is that what you're doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to highlight you because you know what? He looks mean. I love it.
He is mean.
Yeah.
The Buckler's a mean guy. You know, he wants to be a hero and all that, but he has a hard time dealing with people, you know?
Dillard was just saying he's allergic to all the butt hurt going on everywhere.
I'm sick of it, dude. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I feel embarrassed for people.
Well, I know it's a phenomenon when people have to pick a fight. They have to be upset about something. But I just find it so funny, some of the things they choose to get upset about, you know? Like America Chavez's butt, you know? Let's get all upset about that.
What's going on with America Chavez's butt now?
You don't know about the whole American Chavez thing?
No.
Oh my gosh, this is a great time to share with you then.
I'm all ears. I can't wait.
You know, you should be scared. So, let me switch my camera over. I actually wanted to talk about this, and I said, nah, this is too juvenile to talk about, but let's go ahead and do it anyway. So, you know how Marvel recently decided on the pretty much the eve of the entire comic book industry collapsing, decided they were going to relaunch the New Warriors and make it totally SJW cringe, including having characters named Snowflake and Safe Space. And then they decided to launch Children of the Atom with whatever her name is, who's known Vita Ayala, who's known for being brown and queer. That's her whole thing. And
that's my thing, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you do it so much better. But then they announced they were releasing a new series for American Chavez. And
I believe you mean America Chavez.
America Chavez. That's what I said.
You said American.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
Twice.
It is America Chavez. And the artist of the book, whose name is Carlos Gomez, put out some images of his redesign of the character, and it butthurt some SJWs for some reason. I don't know.
Why did it butthurt them?
Because he drew her with ample booty.
I like that cover there, right there.
Which one? This one? This is the character design. The cover. This is the cover.
Yeah, that one where she's jumping with her hand in the air.
Yeah. I like that.
I like that. It's very good.
It's not bad at all. But this is these are his character studies that he did.
I also like that. That's very good.
I do too. There's if you don't have a super fantastic story, or you don't have great artwork that draws you in every single time, you better have a fantastic looking female character to get people to buy the comic. You know, it's got to be like Frank Miller, Grant Morrison writing, or it's got to be Art Adams art, or somebody else that just blows you away, or it's got to have a gorgeous main character. And I hate to say it, but Carlos here went with gorgeous for this character. And I'll show you some of the images. This is one set. Then this is her flashing the booty and getting ready to punch somebody in the face, which is great. That's great. Then not enough
punching in the comic books nowadays.
Yeah. I like this. I actually like the face. That looks like one mean-ass Chiquita, you know? I don't know. Is that an insult, saying that?
Yeah, because she's an alien.
Yes, I know.
No, not that kind.
Yeah. No, alien from outer space. Mm-hmm. Do you know, I have a theory on that. I think that when they started working on her series, they didn't want fans or toxic fans to refer to her as the illegal alien superhero. So they said, you know what? Let's make her an alien from outer space. That way they can't ever describe her as an illegal alien.
Well, they still do.
I know. But I think that's probably what they were thinking. But so Carlos Gomez puts out these images and says, it not necessarily represents the tone of the series, but it's just his idea for what the character looked like. And there was a person out there who goes on Twitter by Let's Talk American Chavez. She describes herself, or it might be a guy, I don't know.
Sounds like an American Chavez fan.
Describes themselves as the American Chavez fan.
America.
I know. You're gonna have to keep correcting.
It's kind of like where you live, you know.
Yeah, I know, but I'm an American living in America, so that's where I keep screwing it up. But this person, Let's Talk America Chavez, says, I'll say I like that she looks a little softer compared to the first draft. There are other images of her where she looks kind of butch, kind of manly, you know,
yeah.
But a square jaw and so forth. And actually they show an image of that later on. And says, but I think I prefer the old jacket better than even if it was busier. It's a little more distinct.
Can you blow that one up? That second set of images?
Let me see. Yeah, if I go to the actual Twitter page.
You're blocked from viewing this person's account.
No, I don't think so. They're making this all about. Let me see.
Well, that's what's on their mind all the time. They're a bunch of degenerate perverts, and all they think about is sex, sex, sex all the time.
Yeah, this was the old design, I think, with the jacket. This, I believe, this is Chris Anka designing this. I mean, that looks like, or that could be. Well, hold on a second.
She looks old. I don't like that.
Let's see.
I don't
No,
like,
Joe Quinones.
I don't like the hook nose either.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go back to this. But here, look at some of the comments are actually kind of funny. And believe it or not, they even throw out Comicsgate in this. It says, but whatever the result, it's just hard to get over how sexualized this is. He doesn't say that the art doesn't reflect the tone of the series. He does say that the art does not reflect the tone of the series, and I really hope we're not getting anything close to this on panel. It's just inexcusable. Dillard?
Yes, sir.
Drawing a character to look, I have to say, beautiful, gorgeous, aesthetically pleasing to the eye is unexcusable.
It is unexcusable. And
It
I'll
is
tell you why.
unexcusable. Tell me
I'll
why.
I'll tell you why. Because this character wasn't made to be beautiful. This character was made to be ugly.
And this artist took creative license.
This artist is appropriating this character, and he's going well outside the realm of what he was approved to do. Because I guarantee you, they didn't pick him to make her beautiful. They picked him because of his last name.
Or his ability to draw. That's always a possibility.
Nah,
Okay.
they picked him because of his last name, and he betrayed them by making her beautiful. That's not what this character is. That's like making Spider-Man gay. You don't do America Chavez beautiful.
Yep. That's so sad.
Why is it sad? It's how it is.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's sad, because it's how it is. When he was announced as the artist, this was my big fear. America herself looks good, and she looks as strong and thick as she should. She also looks like a piece of meat. It might be a LOL better if in the book itself, but right now it's a red flag. I still don't get it. I don't understand the correlation to drawing a gorgeous. Do they just not want their heroes to be gorgeous? Do they not want their heroes to be attractive?
No, not this hero. This hero was made to not be attractive.
Oh, but here's the conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy theory, but I wonder if Marvel chose this artist and this style specifically because it would appease comic gators. And they spell gators with Gators, so as not to, include people that follow Comicsgate, which I think is funny. But I don't think Marvel is trying to appease Comicsgate at all in any way whatsoever. I think the only way they could appease Comicsgaters is if they announced they were canceling these series.
No,
but
America Chavez, from her inception, was not for you.
Yes.
And you said, you know what? Stop messing with my characters and make your own characters. They did. And now you're complaining about their characters. You got to stop.
Now, one of the things that's interesting,
you got to draw the line somewhere.
One of the things that's interesting about this article is they actually show her first appearance from the limited series Vengeance. She was in Vengeance #1, which I did a search to see if it's what the value is, and it's currently valued at, like, in near mint condition, $38 because it's her first appearance, which is absolutely not bad.
It's like better than Spawn #1.
Well, they show they show what she looked like from that first issue, the first page that she appeared on, and it's interesting. It's interesting compared to what you're seeing now.
Let's take a look at what it is.
Yeah,
do you have it?
Yeah, it's in this article. Well, let me finish reading this one other comment. America Chavez is cool now. She's not like those silly SJW characters with their covered bodies and respect for women. You can read it too, is what they were implying was their theory, that conspiracy theory that Marvel's trying to appease Comicsgaters. Marvel is not going to try to appease that group or our group of people at all. They have no intention whatsoever of doing.
Oh, they're
You know?
confusing the artist with Marvel.
Well, that too. That too. Okay, so Carlos posted this final Mac design of her upcoming solo, and yeah, I don't get the upsetness, but okay.
How many fingers does Hero have?
3 fingers and a thumb.
Okay.
It literally looks like all her clothes are painted on her. Sigh. Doesn't that sound like every single comic book hero and villain in some cases that
Like
you've ever heard of?
like if I were to say, yes, of course. But to finish, to finish my statement, when I think of somebody saying her clothes look painted on, the character America Chavez doesn't come to mind, because that's not America Chavez. America Chavez has dumpy clothes and thick jackets.
Well, she definitely shows off that thickness. And then somebody else chimes in and says, I hate how she's posed. That I would really like to see all these people that are commenting negatively about this beautiful illustration, like to see what they would have done, how they would have drawn her. I have a strange feeling it would look horrible.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Kodiak?
Yo.
We're going through this article here. It's pretty interesting.
Kodiak,
What did I do?
where do you land on this debate that me and Andrew are
Actually,
having?
I've told the kid to stop washing the dishes. I told everybody shut up and get out because I was actually interested in what I felt like there's several points, but I like Dillard's point about, hey, like you told them to make their own characters. They did, and then, but it's going to be a revolving door of artists, and everybody, the whole point of art is to have your own interpretation. I'm looking at that picture right now, and I know that I've grown up with American Mexican girls that look like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Of course, and you know what? Anytime I go to a store, I see somebody wearing spandex like that. I hate it. I actually hate
true.
it.
That's absolutely true, Kodiak. But I know if you've lived around Mexican girls, you also see that a good majority of them look like Frigidaire refrigerators.
You said it.
The thing is,
disclaimer, everyone. Dillard
and that's the thing. Like I could say,
Mexican.
I could get a picture of SJW Soyfield Spider-Man that's a homosexual, and as I say, well, I've seen white people that look like that. That's true, but that's not what Peter Parker looks like. This is not America Chavez.
Well, and you bring a point of, I kind of argued the point of Bobby Drake. I'm like, I've known gay people that were like Bobby, who kind of was almost womanizing, but never went on dates. And then come years later, you find out they're gay, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. That's why you were always hanging around the beautiful women, but never actually dating them. So, but that was my argument, and that kind of shoots down my argument but that's not who this character was created as.
Now, this character is supposed to
I like that picture.
This character is supposed to be a teenager. Am I right? In one of her most recent series, I think she's had 3 or 4 of them. She was attending like a community college or something like that.
Yes.
So, she's supposed to be a young person. This,
like 1920.
She's a young adult. Yeah.
This was her very first appearance in the issue number 1 of Vengeance.
That's gorgeous.
And she looks much older than how they designed it. And I think it's actually funny. You got this.
Yeah, they weren't ready. This character wasn't ready.
This third panel right here, she's missing the ass crack.
Yeah.
I bet
I don't know if you've grown up around Mexican women, some of them have very low ass cracks.
Oh, really? I've never
seen their butt cracks.
I've never studied that as well as Dylan probably has. So yeah, it just seems like there was something there, and somebody in editorial said, no, wipe that away, get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think honestly, if the comic was drawn with this character like this, I don't know if I'd pay full price for it, but I'd definitely check it out. And I'm not coming at that from a comic skater's perspective. I'm coming at that as an artist, a comic book fan who likes good art. And I don't have a problem with this at all.
Like, see this very bottom, the bottom right picture.
Mm-hmm.
of her, with the cocked eyebrow and the grin, when
Yep.
she's getting ready to fight. That's America Chavez.
Yeah.
That face is America Chavez, and that's not a bad face. She's pretty still in that face.
Yeah.
She's but the thing is, America Chavez does have an angular, severe face. She's
Yeah, but
not soft.
They're going to. She looks like she's going to kick your ass. You know.
So if you were to play devil's advocate, Dillard, what are they trying to? Which it does sound like you are. What are they trying to accomplish with not this guy, but them? What are they trying to accomplish? If you was to find the good in what they're trying to accomplish.
They're trying to preserve their character that was made for them.
Yes, but the SJWs are now complaining about this.
Right. Well,
Right.
well, we
That's
know.
the thing. They're trying to preserve America Chavez as she's meant to be. This is not how she's meant to be.
I thought this was funny. This image here, original, demonetized. Hold on a second.
It's not my dog that's barking. What do I got to hold on?
Sorry, I had to put somebody in his place.
I never thought. Ronald Reagan said that what he said about the left, and it's just funny. If you get too right in this country, you get extreme censorship. If you go now we're discovering if you go too far left, you get extreme censorship. What is up with that? And I'm not even talking about their own character. I'm talking about
It's the feeling of power and self-importance.
Yeah, look, they made it. That's a white woman's butt. The demonetized one. That's a skinny white woman that sits on the couch all day, and that's not what I'm used to. We lived across the apartment complex with a woman named Dominique. Her husband was in the military, and we came pretty good. That's where I actually learned that like people like her grandfather, who was full Mexican, really have like this racist thing towards Puerto Ricans. I didn't know that existed. Now I do. I know it well. But and she would always show me pictures of him who's full-blooded Mexican, and he had the rebel flag above his desk, and she was like, he was so you learn all those things that cross, that people say is all white people or all this or all that culture, that cross both boundaries or whatever. And she was kind of built like the one that says original. She was blonde, and as time went on, she got more pear-shaped, though, like you said, but still.
I like this design. I like this design a lot. I like the jacket. I like the outfit.
Mm-hmm.
The pose, the body, the face. The face is gorgeous.
But what
Carlos
does that
Gomez-
say? Now playing devil's advocate on my devil's advocate, what is that to say to tell anybody this wasn't made for you? That's just like
no. There are things that are made for you, and there are things that are not made for you. Hallmark movies that play in the daytime are not made for the average red-blooded American male. It's just not made for you.
Yeah, but I think people are making an issue out of this because they need to make an issue out of something.
that's true too.
They need to scream and holler and yell because they don't get attention otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what they've chosen today to be upset about. Now, here's the thing. This is the cover of one of her previous series where she's a little bit more masculine. I mean, look at the abs on her,
Yep.
The face.
She looks a little more in this picture like She-Hulk should.
She's a little more I hate to say it, she looks more masculine in this image.
But it's
where I
it's
think
okay.
I think this version of her,
Mm-hmm.
she looks gorgeous. This version of her, I'd walk across the other side of the street instead of try to follow her.
What is her? No, I think. A lot of men back in 2001 or whatever, they were like falling over China, and I thought she was just horrible looking. But so I hate that angular jaw that even women can get, especially when muscle builders. But this isn't that bad to me.
No.
This is more like I would think She-Hulk should look.
Oh yeah. I thought it was funny. I've seen people that were showing a then and now of She-Hulk, where you had her back in the day where she was very much attractive, buff, and then you have her as they've been drawing her lately, where she's this big, huge, roided out, monstrous of a person, and she loses like 95% of what her character is.
But
She's,
what the for lack of a better word, what the SJWs that run things now haven't been around long enough to understand is, and we have. I mean, I'm second generation comic book collector and comic book fanatic. Everything changes. You can kill Wolverine 100 times. There's going to be a new crew with totally different personalities in 10 years, and comic books is going to change. I don't know now with the comic book industry dying, but
Oh, that's another thing. This comic may never ever see the stands. May never ever come out because actually it's in the solicitation for June. And as of right now, because everything's so on hold, there's a possibility this may never see the light of day. And which is really sad because I think Carlos Gomez is a pretty fantastic artist, and I'd give this comic a shot just based on how good this art is. But there are people out there who want to get attention, and they do it by crapping on somebody's work and crapping on something they're putting out there, and that's all they're doing. And it's making news. So
how do they write her? Do they write her like some alone person up in New York would write her, or do they write her the way like that's kind of like Dillard? What if you looked at any of these pictures and you said, "Hey, I know that girl," based on the women you know, what's that person's personality? America.
She's the America Chavez is the Mexican girl that like straight out of high school, like went straight into nursing. The kind of like I got a single track. I'm focused. You know, I'm not really I'm not like JP would say. I'm not a woo girl. I'm not out there at the club going woo, hanging out of a car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's more of
down to earth,
and I wouldn't say fun.
Yeah,
I don't think she's very fun, America Chavez, but very serious. She's very sober, very serious person.
I could see her having a fun streak.
Well, that's how they write her. I've seen the cartoon my daughter watches with her in it. They write her very project.
Like you knew that girl, right? That they would hang out with the woo girls. Or you'd be at your buddy's house and there would be girls over there or whatever, but there was always that one chick that would leave early because she had work the next day or because she had school or something like that. That's America Chavez.
I always noticed one that would leave when things were getting too riley, and I kind of took my cue from that girl or guy for that matter. It's like, okay, it's getting a little too much for me. Time to go. I got work tomorrow, like you said, or I got something.
Yeah.
I got a test tomorrow. I got to study for.
Well, let me ask you a question, Dillard. Do you think, based on the art that the artist of the series, Carlos Gomez, has shown, does he respect the character?
I wouldn't say would you say he disrespects the character?
The character you described, personally described. Do you think he's giving you that character here? No. Or is he taking it in a whole different direction?
He's going.
No.
He's going the party girl direction.
Yeah, he's going party girl direction. He's going Mary Jane.
Well, how much of that? Well, actually, he was the artist of Mary Jane, by the way, the amazing Mary Jane.
What do you know?
Yeah, that's the other little thing. How much of this do you think is the writer's direction or the editor's direction?
I wouldn't have any idea. I don't even know who the writer is.
Okay, I don't know who the writer is either, but I think
it's. But just looking at the artwork by itself, I think it's mostly him.
Written by the amazing Callum.
Third question.
No idea.
Either way, would you be a buyer of this book if you were a collector of comics?
No.
Yeah.
Kalinda Vasquez is the name of the writer.
Imagine that.
This is her Twitter page.
And what was the last Vasquez? And what was the name of the artist?
Carlos Gomez.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine all that.
I need to know. I need no more knowledge other than the fact she lives in New York City.
Okay. Well,
poor Todd. And
well, this is the current SJW. We're upset about thing going on. So,
and I think they have a legitimate thing to be upset about there.
But if this was a picture, same body, and we just switched it, we palette swapped it for Mary Jane, it would be acceptable, right? Because that would be the character. Well, she'd be a little.
No. Mary Jane doesn't have
she'd be a little thinner.
Booty. No. Mary Jane.
Taller, she'd be thinner, but yeah, that pose, that style, that's Mary Jane.
I would never describe Mary Jane as thick.
No,
Nobody did. We all just said no.
but
I'm just
bas-
emphasizing the fact that you agree with me.
but basically a different character that's their personality would be okay.
Right.
Does it appear to you that a Spanish Mexican descent writer, a Spanish Mexican descent artist are drawing and designing a character?
That might be cool. If they,
stereotypical?
that might be cool if they were writing anything other than their mentality stuck in their little bubble that is New York City.
It doesn't matter. I mean, the fact is this just is not America Chavez.
Mm-hmm.
And they're upset about it because there's not a lot of people that buy America Chavez, right?
Well, this is
Right.
once again Marvel saying,
There are a couple of thousand people that do.
Yeah, but this is once again Marvel saying we can only release a Mexican-influenced character with a Mexican writer and artist team.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Where they're forcing the stereotypes. If this was Tom Smith,
I would
and
look,
artists
dude. Look, you're
would
going way off
you
topic here,
know?
and let me bring you right back to topic.
I bring
Because the 2,000 people that read America Chavez definitely want a Mexican team on America Chavez. Tell me I'm lying.
Yeah, that's what they're buying it for.
I don't think, but then again, Comicsgate doesn't care about that.
Exactly.
But the person complaining about these images was theorizing that Marvel is doing this in order to appease Comicsgaters,
Uh-huh.
which is the exact opposite of why any Comicsgater would even check out an America Chavez comic.
Sounds like you're reaching. You're kind of moving from topic to topic, trying to find a way to make this, outrageous. It's not outrageous. It's normal.
Yeah, I know it is. And it's sad, and that's sad about it. But well, it is what it is. So, Dillard, you're just like Avery. You have to disagree with everything I say.
I agreed with you on a lot of points that I agreed with you on. When I don't agree with you on something, I'm not going to pretend.
Well, I think
Hold on
Carlos.
a second, my wife is yelling at me from the house, and God damn it, and son of a bitch.
Hey, at least your dog isn't unplugging your computer while you're in the middle of a live stream.
Hey, it's still sunlight out there in California. You see that sun?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
I've missed you a lot lately.
I just realized because I'm talking on the stream that I'm actually kind of got my voice back.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
I have never spent 15 days of my life sick in a row like that before. I still got a cough. Still feels like my lungs and my rib cage is bruised. But that was crazy.
You know what we're gonna do?
Whoa, Andrew!
Oh, shut up! I'm just gonna adjust my camera. Well, I was gonna say.
All right, guys, I gotta go.
All right,
later,
Dillard, take it easy, man. Thanks for coming by.
All right, later.
All right, now that he's gone, we'll focus on me again so I can finish this drawing. I went out and bought all new supplies, got new pens, new pencils, new whiteout markers. I mean, I'm so thrilled to actually be working again. So
I think what Dillard might be getting annoyed with is and not wording maybe the best is an overcorrect. Make sure not to overcorrect. You know what I mean? Like, and we've been focused on their absolute things they do that are just junk tier, so much that who was getting mad was the audience, right? The people who get off and get paid for getting mad on things like Twitter, right? We don't know what the Office was doing. They might have encouraged him to sexy it up, So
yeah,
but like,
well, one of the things he said in the in his post is that this is just his design. It's not reflective of the way it's going to be done in the story, in the comic. So,
and my point is watch him get attacked for his art, and that's what's wrong. That's what's wrong. Getting attacked for your art is not. I mean, we won't, and not only can't, but we also don't want to attack somebody for their sexuality. So why are you getting mad at somebody who draws, art? I don't like that. It goes back to my saying about getting over censored if you go too far left or right. You know, it's not true freedom.
Yeah. Well, I think the art looks great. I think the character looks good. It's not a character that was ever meant for me, was designed for me, was intended for me. But if you've got really good art, it's worth checking out, you know? So, but they're going to
then
complain
again-
because they don't like the art. They think it's over sexualized, and I don't.
Okay, I get that, but I still get frustrated with and I know people can fight me on it with it wasn't created for you. But that's like saying The Stand was only created for people who been through a pandemic or some stupid shit. It's like anything that's directed, if it's not your cup of tea, that's okay, but that doesn't mean it was aimed at anyone. Okay,
Yeah.
He used the Hallmark, the idea that Hallmark isn't aimed at red-blooded men, blah blah blah, right? But it's okay for a man if he, you know, likes a movie. All of a sudden, he came across a movie one day, and it was like, hey, that was pretty good. You know, it wasn't not made for him. You know, this whole "it wasn't made for you" that's racism. That's I can't think of a better word though. There's a very bad thing in allowing that, you know.
Yeah.
Now they can just go, okay, this is created by an all Mexican group of people that come together and to kind of capture a culture. And in that, we might come across an America Chavez story one day. That's a really good story that gives us a point of view we didn't have, but it wasn't pushed. It wasn't, you know what I mean? So there could be good benefits from telling a story from something we've never read before, we've never seen before.
Yeah.
So by saying it's not for us, deletes us from finding that experience of seeing a point of view that it's just so anti-learning. It's so all anti-evolution. It's so bullshit. Sorry, I went off on a rant.
Well, that's no problem. You know what's so funny is that 99.9% of my comic buying experience has always been based on the art.
Mhm.
It's just a fact.
Yeah.
And if the art looks good or interesting or different, or you know, I've picked up many comics where I've been a fan of the character or of the, you know, the stories and so forth, and looked at the art and go, "Ooh, no, thank you, never mind," and put it back down, you know. And it might have been the greatest thing ever. Like I never, when it first came out, I was never interested in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I did not like Kevin O'Neill's art on that book. It just did not work for me. And I've been told it's like great read and so forth. But at the time it came out, it just didn't do it for me. And I bypassed it because of that. Now I have picked up issues since then and, you know, found them entertaining. But when they initially came out, I was like, that's a hard pass, you know?
Yeah.
But if this book was just put out there on the stand and it had this art in it and it was good art, and I didn't know anything about the history of the character or about the whole, you know, SJW, you know, Marvel and so forth, it's something I probably definitely would be interested in picking up, you know? And this is from a guy who hasn't picked up regular comics in a long time,
Right.
you know? But
so he definitely goes into the pile of, I might pay attention to his art, but you're still not sold on the book.
Well, not if people are going to make such a big, huge fuss over it the way they have. You know, I think that's silly and stupid.
God, I hate Twitter. It's just like, you know, there's so much Twitter. If I could have one company, if I could have one wish to have one company go bankrupt and never exist again, it would be Twitter or anything like it. It gave birth to the 2010s and had a personality that was just, it's like, it gave it a personality that YouTube didn't. It bled into everything, Reddit, all those, you know, but mostly Twitter. It's like, and when it first launched, I was like, this is so stupid. Who's going to do this? And then things like Entertainment Tonight was on a daily basis going, he tweeted this out. And it was like, Twitter's the best thing. And the way it was being pushed, I didn't realize at the time it was being pushed, you know? And it's like, now this new star has himself this Twitter thing where you can only use 22 characters. or I think they upped it. But see what I mean?
Yeah, 144 characters, I think, was the last count.
It's like, what the hell is a tweeter, and why would we want it? And then now everybody has it, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Oh, so what do you think of my
I love it.
my Frankenstein bear?
I love it.
Where is my?
You know what your art reminds me of?
What's that?
We always say Robin Hood, but it's not really. Robin Hood's just, something we enjoyed, so we say it. Or for me it was. Disney's Robin Hood, but it's not. It's like Tailspin. Do you remember Tailspin?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's not. It's not Chip and Dale, it's not the others. It's like Tailspin. And I always liked the art in Tailspin, so
Oh yeah. And pretty much any of those Disney cartoons were great.
yeah.
Did you ever see Mighty Ducks, the cartoon?
I have it. I both have it, but it was right in a period where I was starting to get out of cartoons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I've seen it, observed it. I have it on the disc for the kids, but so I know it. I just don't, it's not like Darkwing Duck is to me, and especially Chip and Dale's was my jam.
Yeah, I like the character designs for the Mighty Ducks.
Mm-hmm.
I had an animation magazine that had the character designs in there, and I was like, oh, this Mallory duck is just awesome.
Yeah, it did look, and I think it's even in universe for their whole Disney after you. Words are hard. So yeah, that was it. I mean, it was great. I could tell it was great, but I just was not watching TV during that time, So.
Yeah, but it was a very weird time in animation.
Yeah. Late 90s did get really weird.
Yeah.
And then stuff. So I got out of a lot of stuff, and then it kind of got good again for a little while in the early aughts, and then by the 2010s, everything's just sucky.
Did you ever watch Quack Pack?
No, I only found out about it recently, actually.
Yeah, that was not good.
No, I hate anything that's not the original DuckTales.
Well, the new DuckTales isn't bad, but I've only seen one episode.
Yeah, I've heard that it's not that bad.
Yeah, you know what? The one thing that irritated me the most about it was Uncle Scrooge's voice. I don't know who does the voice, but it's
Tennyson. It's Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's right. But I did not like it at all, and I was thankful that the only episode I've seen so far is the first episode, and he's barely in it.
Yeah.
And so that was a kind of a saving grace.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it gets better. But
what's interesting, I found out from my dad. My dad had he collect binders and binders of old 1960s with the cover torn off because he could get them cheaper, but they were still collectible. But of Disney books, with Scrooge McDuck and just Disney 1960s books, right? They were apparently hot in the 1960s and 1950s, and he loved them. He had a whole bookcase full of, and he kept them in binders.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. I didn't know his infatuation for him until after he was dead, and we're kind of going through his stuff, right? So, but my realization was when he was encouraging, like us to watch DuckTales, and I used to trip out on the fact that he would watch DuckTales like every episode, and Darkwing Duck and all that stuff. All that stuff was very, very inspired, and even though they didn't copy any of the stories, they stayed pretty close to the hip to those old Disney comic books.
Yeah.
It really had that spirit in those cartoons, So,
Yep. All right. Does he look menacing?
yeah.
All right.
I kind of liked when you smudged his eye. I liked it. It looked like one eye had a pupus and one, or is that right? Pupil. One eye had a pupil.
I wanted to do it. I wanted his eyes to be like glowing.
Okay.
So that's why I fixed that. But
yeah.
Oh, Ahmed's here. He says, "Hey, Andrew, are you drawing a bear?" Yes, I am. I'm actually drawing a Frankenstein bear. Frankenstein's monster as a bear. So we'll see how that goes over. All right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I'm tired.
Alrighty.
I appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, man.
But we're going to live stream again tomorrow if you want to join.
Cool.
You know, we'll do the Drew and Kodiak hour if you want to join.
Drew and Kodiak.
Oh, I don't know. Did you see I announced that I'm going to be going to live streaming every day?
That's I seen that yesterday.
You know, it's
And I was actually hoping to have everything set for tomorrow, but everything had kind of settled down, and I was like, you know what? They're still going, and y'all were talking about that America, and I could see both ways what you were trying to say. And I think Dillard's he's the first canary in the cave. He's the first he's the first loudest voice. He's saying, "All right, guys, I'm getting tired of all the complaining." Not to us, but we're his friends.
Right.
So that's the first person he's going to come out and go, "No,
Yeah.
I'm getting tired of this." It's like
But
everything.
that was kind of the point I was making, is that there's people out there that are complaining just to complain, to be heard.
Exactly. And he was well, he kind of was agreeing with that. Dude, did you watch it? Did you freaking watch it? Because I watched it.
What?
The Tiger King.
Oh no, I have not.
No,
that.
you gotta
No.
stop what you're doing. You watch the first episode and you watch the whole thing. You will not unsee it. You'll totally understand why it's like, oh my god, I don't even know what to say unless you've seen it.
Okay.
I can't even say anything unless you see it.
All
And
right.
let me tell you this. Just when you think, damn, this is so strange, you couldn't write this, no one would believe it, something else happens, and you're like, what the?
All right. I'll take that.
Go ahead.
I'll take that as my homework asassignment for this evening.
Yeah.
So.
I watched it twice because I made my wife watch it afterwards. I'm like, no, you gotta. There's a reason this shitstorm is so popular. But like, it's so, dude. Okay. I'll talk to you after you've watched it.
Okay, that sounds good. All right. Well, we're wrapping up for this evening. I appreciate everybody coming by and saying hi. Ahmed, Evan, and I think that was it. And of course, Dillard. But all right, guys, appreciate it, and we'll catch y'all next time.
All right. Later.